The dining room went dead silent. My mother-in-law, Meredith, stood there with a stack of photos in her hand, her lips curled into that familiar smirk I'd grown to hate over 7 years of marriage. "Well, Sienna," she said, voice dripping with fake sweetness, "care to explain these to my son?" She slammed the first photo down. Bang! A picture of me at a coffee shop with a man who wasn't my husband. Bang! Another photo. Me laughing at lunch. Different man. Bang! 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 3 more photos. 3 more men. "Your husband wasn't the only one getting your attention, was it?" She practically sang the words. My husband Garrett's face had gone pale. His sister Bethany was recording everything on her phone. His father Eugene just sat there, stone-faced, waiting for my confession. They thought they had me, but they had no idea what I was about to unleash. They made one critical error. They underestimated me. Comment yes if you've ever been underestimated. What comes next? It's proof that the quiet ones are the most dangerous.
Let me back up 3 months. My name is Sienna. I'm 29, married to Garrett for 7 years. On paper, we had the perfect life. Nice house in the suburbs, 2 cars, good jobs. No kids yet. We were waiting for the right time. But here's what Instagram didn't show. My in-laws were hell. Meredith, my mother-in-law, had hated me from day one. Why? Because I wasn't Garrett's ex, Natasha, sweet, perfect Natasha, who went to their church, who came from money, who would have given Meredith grandchildren by now. Instead, Garrett married me, the girl from the wrong side of town, the one who worked her way through college, the one who dared to have a career instead of immediately popping out babies. Every Sunday dinner was torture. "Sienna, that dress is interesting." Natasha always dressed so elegantly. "Sienna, when are you giving us grandchildren? Natasha wanted 4 kids." "Sienna, I saw Natasha at the store. She asked about Garrett. Such a shame things didn't work out." Garrett never defended me. "That's just how Mom is," he'd say. "Ignore her." His sister Bethany was worse. She'd accidentally tag Garrett in old photos with Natasha. She'd invite Natasha to family events, claiming she forgot I'd be there. She once told me, straight to my face, that I was just a placeholder until Garrett came to his senses. Eugene, the father, just enabled it all. Silent approval is still approval. But 3 months ago, something changed. I started getting texts from unknown numbers. "Stay away from other men. We're watching you. Garrett deserves better." Then came the private investigator. I noticed him following me to work, to the gym, to lunch meetings, taking photos. At first, I panicked. Then I got angry. Then I got smart. Because if they wanted to play games, I was about to show them what happens when you mess with the wrong woman. I called my brother, Marcus. He works in cybersecurity. "I need you to trace some phone numbers," I said. What he found made my blood boil, but it also gave me exactly what I needed. The texts, They came from Bethany's phone. The private investigator paid for with Meredith's credit card. The plan? Eugene's email outlined everything. They were trying to frame me for cheating, to give Garrett a reason to divorce me, to finally get their precious Natasha back in the family. But here's what they didn't know. Those men in the photos, they were about to become the keys to my revenge. Once I knew their game, I played along perfectly. Those men they photographed me with, let me introduce you to the cast of my revenge. The coffee shop man, Dr. James Chen, my fertility specialist. The lunch date, attorney Michael Roberts, estate planning lawyer. The guy at the park, Detective Ray Morrison, investigating harassment. The man at the hotel lobby, Thomas Kumar, private investigator. The fifth man, Dr. Alan Peterson, Garrett's urologist. Yeah, you heard that last one right. See, while my in-laws were building their fake cheating case, I was building something much bigger. Every meeting was strategic, every conversation recorded, every document saved. Dr. Chen, I was seeing him because after 2 years of trying, I couldn't get pregnant. Tests showed I was fine. The problem? That was the million-dollar question. Attorney Roberts, I was updating my will, making sure if anything happened to me, my assets went to my family, not the vultures I married into. Detective Morrison, those threatening texts warranted a police report. He was building a harassment case. Thomas Kumar, if they could hire a PI, so could I. And what he found? Let's just say Meredith should have been more careful with her Facebook messages. But Dr. Peterson? That appointment wasn't for me. 3 weeks before the dinner, I'd convinced Garrett to get tested, told him I wanted to start trying for kids. He'd been resistant for years, always had excuses. Too tired, too stressed, not the right time. The test results came back the day before the family dinner. Garrett was sterile. Had been since birth. He knew. He'd always known. 7 years of his mother berating me for not giving her grandchildren. 7 years of, when are you going to be a real woman? 7 years of comparing me to perfect, fertile Natasha. And he knew. But that wasn't even the best part. My PI found something interesting in Natasha's past, something that would make this dinner unforgettable. I prepared everything. Documents in my purse, recordings on my phone, lawyer on speed dial. Then I walked into that dining room knowing they thought they'd won. They had no idea they'd already lost. Meredith's smirk when she pulled those photos, that was the last time she'd smile in my presence. Before we start dinner, she announced, I have something very important to share with the family. Bethany already had her phone out. Eugene folded his hands like a judge about to pass sentence. Garrett looked confused. Mom, what's going on? That's when she dropped the photos, one by one. Your wife has been stepping out on you, son, with multiple men. The room held its breath, waiting for my tears, my excuses, my begging. Instead, I smiled. You're absolutely right, Meredith. I have been meeting with these men. Garrett's face crumbled. Sienna, how could you? I pulled out my phone. Calm. Collected. Ready. Let me introduce you to my Affairs, I said, swiping to the first photo. Dr. James Chen, fertility specialist. I've been seeing him for 6 months, trying to figure out why your mother's precious grandchildren haven't appeared yet. Meredith's smirk wavered. I swiped again. Attorney Michael Roberts, estate planning. Funny thing about marriage, when your in-laws send threatening texts, you update your will. Threatening texts? Garrett looked confused. Oh, your family didn't mention their harassment campaign. I pulled up the screenshots. Stay away from other men. We're watching you. All from Bethany's number. Bethany's phone clattered to the floor. I continued. Dr. Ray Morrison, detective. He's building quite the case. Harassment, stalking. Did you know hiring a PI to stalk someone is illegal in our state, Meredith? The color drained from her face. Thomas Kumar, my private investigator, because two can play this game. I smiled sweetly. He found some fascinating things, like Eugene's email planning this whole setup, or Meredith's messages to Natasha about getting me out of the picture. Eugene started to stand. Now wait a minute. Sit down. My voice could have cut glass. He sat. But this last one, I said, holding up Dr. Peterson's photo. This is my favorite. Garrett was sweating now. He knew what was coming. Dr. Alan Peterson, urologist, specializing in male fertility. The room went silent. Garrett, would you like to share your test results with your family, or should I? His mouth opened, closed. Nothing came out. No? Okay, I'll share. I pulled out the medical report. Congenital bilateral absence of the vas deferens. In simple terms, Garrett has been sterile since birth. Meredith's face went white. That's impossible. Is it? I turned to face her. 7 years you've tortured me about grandchildren. 7 years of Natasha would have given us babies by now. 7 years of calling me selfish, broken, less of a woman. My voice rose, and your son knew. He sat there every Sunday listening to you tear me apart, knowing he was the reason, and he said nothing. Sienna, please. Garrett reached for me. Don't touch me. I stepped back. But wait, there's more. I pulled out the final document. Natasha. Sweet Perfect wants 4 kids, Natasha. Did you know she had her tubes tied at 22? My PI found the medical records. She never wanted children either. Bethany gasped. You're lying. Am I? I threw the papers on the table. There's the proof. Your perfect daughter-in-law candidate is just as broken as I am, except she was smart enough to run from this toxic family. Meredith was shaking now. You set us up. No, I laughed, actually laughed. You set yourselves up. You were so desperate to get rid of me, you never thought to check who those men were. You never considered I might find out about your scheme. You never imagined your precious son might be lying to you. I grabbed my purse. The divorce papers will be filed Monday. The harassment charges, too. Oh, and Meredith, that retirement fund Eugene's been building, half of it came from my inheritance. My lawyer will be in touch. I headed for the door, then stopped. One more thing. Garrett, I wasn't actually infertile. The fertility tests showed I'm perfectly healthy. Could have had those grandchildren your mother wanted so badly. I looked him dead in the eyes. Too bad you'll never get to find out.
The explosion was immediate. I hadn't even reached my car when I heard Meredith screaming. Not at me, at Garrett. 7 years of rage, all directed at her baby boy who'd let her humiliate herself every single week. My phone buzzed. Bethany, please don't press charges. I have kids. I texted back, should have thought about that before stalking me. Then Garrett, can we talk, please? Block. Eugene, let's handle this like adults. Your lawyer can handle it with mine. Block. But the best message came 3 hours later from a number I didn't recognize. This is Natasha. Bethany gave me your number. I just wanted to say thank you. They've been harassing me for years to get back with Garrett. Maybe now they'll finally stop. P.S. The tube tying story was genius. I actually just never wanted kids with him. Good luck with everything. I sat in my hotel room that night, ordering room service and feeling free. The divorce was swift. Garrett didn't contest anything. How could he? I had evidence of fraud, hiding his sterility, harassment, his family's campaign, and financial misconduct. Meredith had been skimming from our joint account for her retirement fund. The harassment charges stuck. Bethany got probation and a restraining order. Meredith had to pay a hefty fine. Eugene lost his position at the country club when word got out about the stalking scandal. But the real revenge came 6 months later. I ran into Garrett at a coffee shop. He looked terrible. Apparently, Meredith hadn't spoken to him since that dinner. Bethany blamed him for her criminal record. Eugene moved to a retirement home, alone. I'm sorry, he said, for everything. I should have told them. I should have defended you. I was just scared. Scared of what? I asked. Of not being the son they wanted, the one who could give them grandchildren, continue the family line. I thought if I had the right wife, maybe it would be okay. Maybe they'd stop asking. For a moment, I almost felt bad for him. Almost. I let you torture me to protect yourself. That's not fear. That's cowardice. I left him there with his cold coffee and his regrets. A year later, I met someone new. David. Sweet, kind David, who shuts down his mother the second she says anything remotely critical. We're happy. We're talking about kids, adoption, since that's what we both want anyway. Last I heard, Garrett was still single, still sterile, still lying about it to every woman he dates. Meredith messages me occasionally, apologies, begging for forgiveness, asking about grandchildren she'll never have. I never respond, because the best revenge, it's not the dramatic reveal, it's not the legal consequences, it's not even the family drama. It's living your best life while they're stuck in the prison they built themselves. They wanted me out of the family? Wish granted. But they never considered what else they'd lose when I left. Everything.